Happy 2016 GovTech Social. This is Anil Chawla with Archive Social and the GovTech Social podcast. Coming into 2016, thought we might do some things a little differently. Video is taking off in government social media, so we're bringing my monthly column to video format. But like social media, we're going to keep it authentic, raw, and uncut. Now to kick this off, I've invited my close friend and colleague, Dustin Heisler, the Chief Innovation Officer of eRepublic and co-host of Government Technology's GovTech Social podcast. Dustin, welcome.
Thanks, Anil. Happy New Year. It's great to join you for a new experiment. And of course, anything that involves video first thing in the morning is a great thing. So to kick things off, we've got 6 resolutions for you and how you use social media in your agency to start this new year. So number 1 is study your audience and reevaluate the platforms that they're on to make sure that you're on the right platform. With the emergence of all kinds of new technologies and all kinds of new social networks, and the White House joining Snapchat and Periscope coming to be and Facebook launching live video, it's more important than ever to reevaluate your presence on social media and ensure that your agency is actually broadcasting and engaging a crowd that exists within your jurisdiction. So take this opportunity to reevaluate where you're at and make sure that if you're not on platforms that your population's on, that you really look at opportunities to engage them where they're at. Anil.
Dustin, that's perfect. I'm going to build off of that for resolution number 2, and I'm going to go back to something that's near and dear to all of us, trimming the fat, getting back in shape. And what I mean by that is for your agency to do a social media inventory. Exactly. We have to figure out where our citizens are, what platforms they're on. We also have to figure out where we already are. With social media, this is a technology that IT does not have central control over, which is great. It empowers the different departments and individuals to create sites, but that can get out of hand. And more often than not, I find agencies don't know exactly where they are on social media. You do that audit, you find out where you are. You might find some sites that could be shut down and they're just there and they may be confusing citizens. You might find some sites that are really doing some amazing things that you didn't know about. And most importantly, you have a sense of what's happening and so that you can tie it all together for your agency's mission. Now, certainly you want to reach out to the individuals in the departments and ask them what they're doing, where they are on social media. But I also recommend that you do your own detective work. Use Google, put in facebook.com, the name of your agency or the name of your departments, and see what comes up. Create a list, and for extra credit, turn that into a social media directory listing on your website so that it helps citizens find those sites more efficiently. Dustin, back to you.
I love that, Anil. I think that's absolutely right on. And to take it a step further, we need to also use this opportunity to look at our employees. So resolution number 3 is to educate your employees on how to use social media. So I don't recommend going into City Hall and asking if they know how to use Facebook, because I can guarantee you know the answer to that. But find opportunities to engage them, your employees that is, and train them on some of these new technologies. Train them on what live video is. Train them on how people are morphing the use cases of social technologies and how they're actually creating new ways to engage with government, even if government's not there. So use the opportunity in this new year to train your employees on the new platforms that are out there, but also more importantly, acceptable use of social media. So social media provides an incredible opportunity for agencies to be humanized, for you to have a dialogue with constituents directly, but make sure that employees understand what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. And so use this as an opportunity to train them on what to do if someone tweets an open records request at them, or what to do if someone posts something that's offensive on social media. So that way they know exactly how to respond at that moment in time. Anil.
That's perfect. For number 4, I'm going to talk about the other side of that coin. In order to do that training, in order to talk about what's acceptable, some of you are about to groan, but I do recommend taking this time at the beginning of the year to reevaluate your social media policy. I know that you spent a lot of time on it, probably way too much time getting a social media policy in place for what really needed to happen. But you have one in place. A lot of folks want to set it and forget it. You feel like you're covered. But here's the deal. The landscape continues to evolve. The case law continues to evolve. It's a changing forum. So you need to go back to that social media policy. Like Dustin said, there are acceptable use guidelines and requirements for your employees. You want to draw a clear line between professional and personal usage. Make sure that your agency is being represented in a proper fashion, but make sure you're not over-constraining what your staff members can do on their personal time. There is case law around what employees can say and do. You also do want to address this emerging issue of First Amendment concerns. There isn't perfect case law on this yet, but there are some really strong best practices about when and how you can remove content. You want to make sure that you're not removing content just because it's negative or it disagrees with you, but you can certainly remove content if it's profane or offensive. So spelling that out in your social media policy and enforcing that in a very clear fashion is critical for the success of your agency. And as Dustin mentioned, there's a legal landscape here as well as a government agency. Issues like open records, more and more states are coming out and providing additional guidance on how to approach this issue, making sure that not only do you fulfill these requirements in-house and say have the records of your social media and fulfill these legal requirements, but also make your citizens aware of that. You should have an external social media policy that lets people know that what they say to you on Facebook and Twitter is something that will be kept as a record and could be disclosed again and again over time. Making folks really aware of what it is, spelling it out in a clear fashion will protect your agency and help you really reach your goals over time.
Awesome. Completely agree, and I didn't groan at all. Resolution number 5, conduct a social media survey to make sure that you're posting the most relevant information for your constituents. So when you look at how agencies use social media, it's a great platform to disseminate lots of information to the public. So use this opportunity in this new year to actually go to the public and ask them what's important to them. Ask them to evaluate how you're using social media today so that you can uncover some new social media use cases that you may not be doing that will provide an incredible opportunity to boost your citizen engagement and to provide more relevant information to the community using these incredible channels to do so. Anil.
Definitely. Social media is a two-way conversation, and perhaps it's a good opportunity to try out Twitter's pretty new poll functionality. But really building off of that, when you find out and you have a sense of what your citizens want and what you need to be doing, my last tip for you, resolution number 6, is to establish a goal for the year, at least one goal for the year, along with the metrics of measuring your progress towards that goal, and along with the reporting process to understand what's happening and share that with your stakeholders. When we talk to government agencies about what they're doing on social media and what they want to be able to do, almost every time there is a notion of, well, not everybody in this agency is completely bought into what we're doing. They don't understand how important social media is for us, and I'm not getting the resources or investment I need. Well, this is the solution to that. Establish a goal. Perhaps that goal is to reach a demographic you haven't been able to successfully reach before or engage before. Make that your goal and figure out how you're going to measure it. Or maybe your goal is to improve response times. You figured out that people are asking you questions on social media, and it is, in fact, a time and cost savings for your agency to be able to get them better answers and get those answers to them quicker. Establish a response time metric and figure out how you're going to measure that. Facebook helps in that regards these days. Whatever it is, set the goal, again, measure it, and when you report on it, you're treating this like as a true core business initiative, and you should, because social media is core to how government informs and protects the public. So that's the last resolution I have for you. We do really appreciate your attention here. We're going to keep this going month after month. Dustin, thank you for joining with me today, and Happy New Year's to you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Anil, and we look forward to continuing the dialogue as the year progresses. As you come up with ideas that you want us to unpack on a monthly basis, feel free to tweet them to us. Anil is at Anil Chawla, and I am at Dustin Heisler, and feel free to email us as well. We'll post our email addresses within the notes for this video. But thanks again for joining us. Happy New Year, and we hope that you kick off 2016 with an amazing and incredible social media resolution.